that I see, and all that I hear, and all that I feel is God. And all that I have, and all that I do, and all that I am is God. And all that I want, and all that I need, and all that I show is love. And all that I think, and all that I speak, and all that I know is love. All that I see, and all that I hear, and all that I feel is God. And all that I have, and all that I do, and all that I am is God. And all that I am is God. And all that I am is God.
Let us remember together that there is only one life, one infinite and eternal presence, one holy, divine, creative source, one life. We call it by many names: Spirit, God, the Divine One, the thing itself. Whatever we call it, there is only one of it, and it is whole, complete, and perfect all the time. It is that life that we are. Everything that is flows forth from this one and expresses its truth. So I know for myself that I am one with this divine presence. There's no part of me that is separate from it. I am that which Spirit is: love, peace, wholeness, balance, and order, abundant good. And as I know this for myself, I know this about each and every one. I know it about you and you and you, about all of us, about everything that exists. We are spirit in expression. And there is no part of us that is separate from each other or from that divine presence. We are it, and we are one. And I know that this broadcast this morning is bringing each one of us a greater sense of that truth, our oneness and our divine expression. So I'm grateful that this gathering, this virtual gathering this morning, brings us this sense of wholeness through the music, through the words, through our connection to our community, bringing a greater sense of wholeness, oneness, peace, joy, and abundant good. I'm grateful, and I celebrate this wholeness that we are. And I release this word to that one, knowing that it is so, and it continues to be so. And so it is. Hello, I am Brenda Cobrin, one of your prayer practitioners at the center. And here is today's affirmation from our Prayers of Wisdom and Vision Book of Prayers. I am an expression of the endless absolute source. My life is a unique aspect of the divine life. All of the good that flows from the source flows through me and my life. And so it is.
Hello, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. I am Edward Fillion, the Senior Minister, and I'm so glad to welcome you here, both our regulars and if you are visitors. And to our regulars, I want to say, I miss you so much. Today, my husband Kevin went to San Francisco for some training, and we've been together every single day for a whole year, and just being apart for this one day made me miss him so much, especially being a single parent to our puppies and managing the. And I just thought, some of us haven't seen each other for over a year, and I miss you. And I'm guessing that you, like I am, are very eager, interested in knowing what is the plan for us in this coming year to begin to embrace the idea of being together again physically. Well, it's something we have to roll out with care and attention, and we do have a plan. We have a team of people who are working through the logistics and the safety measures, and I'm going to introduce some of that to you at our general membership meeting that's coming up this month. Now, this meeting is for members only because we have to do business, legal business with votes and so on. But of course, we want to be inclusive, and we are going to record it and make it available immediately for friends and guests to enjoy and learn all of the good news about our center. And today, at the end of the service, you will hear our COO, Linda Han, give you the details of our general membership meeting that's coming up. At the Center for Spiritual Living, we are motivated by a vision of a healthy, loving world. We call it the global vision, and we say it's a vision of a world that works for everyone. That's what motivates us. That's what we're about, and we use science of mind to build that world. Now, if you love the center or you like what you learn here and you'd like to help us keep this place running beautifully, please consider making a donation. You can do that on our website. There's a donate menu tab right at the top. Or if you're a Facebook user, you can see on our Facebook page there is a donate button there too. Or if you're old school and you like to send your check in, you can do that to our physical address at 2075 Occidental Road, where we pick up our mail. And we do so love the notes of appreciation that you include when you send your checks in. And you'll see at the end of the service there's a rolling screen of comments from our community. I thank you for being here, and I know that somewhere between the music and the meditation and the message and the prayer is exactly what you need for your life's journey. Thank you for being here.
Just when I take a step outside, the rain, it catches me with no warning. Right before I lift off, what was once light and airy can't catch my breath, pour sweet canary for the weight on my body. Oh, break me, take me, climb inside. Bring me to a new divide. And I will grow to know a better me. And this time I will lift off and fly. Just when I take a step outside, all around I see the empty spaces. No matter how many times on this flight I can bear break me, take me, climb inside. Bring me to a new divide. Oh, break me, take me, climb inside. Bring me to a new divide, and I will grow to know better me, better me. And this time I will lift up. And this time I will lift off, lift off, lift off and fly. I will lift off and fly. Ooh, I will lift off and fly. I will fly high.
March's theme is open to possibilities. In our book, Prayers of Wisdom and Vision, each month we have an affirmation and a prayer for every week of the month. Now, don't worry if you don't have the book. You can go to our online affirmative prayer library. Just search for that phrase, online affirmative prayer library, and it'll come right up, and you'll see each month a new spiritual mind treatment, and that's our term for affirmative prayer, is right there for you to enjoy. Also, at the beginning of each month, there is an affirmation. There is an inner knower within me that guides me to my highest expression of good. I am open to the endless possibilities for transformation for my life. And that's exactly what this month is about. Our topics this month include today, open to living in the question. Next week is release and let go. The third week is with open arms. And then the fourth week is commit to transformation. So clearly, this month, when we talk about being open to the possibilities, we must speak about that spiritual practice known as visioning. Now, you may be familiar with another spiritual practice called visualization, which is the method of forming a mental image of some desired good in your mind. Now, in the way of visualization, we might begin with that idea in mind, and then we use our beautiful imagination to add details to it. What it would feel like, what would it look like, how do I want this particular good to be part of my life? And there are all sorts of techniques, treasure maps where you cut out pictures of the images you want to focus on. It's also called vision board making, or you could do creative visualization or guided meditations and so on. Now, visioning is a little different. Instead of starting with an idea of some good in mind, we begin the practice with being open. Now, what does being open mean? Well, it means we might release and let go of our thoughts. You might even say, start visioning by emptying your mind. But you know, if you've ever tried to stop thinking, you know how that doesn't go too well. So instead of trying to stop your thinking and forcefully empty your mind of ideas, instead what we do is we adopt a gentle attitude of openness. And one way that we can do that is by silently asking ourselves a question, such as, what in divine mind is the highest idea for my life? Now, some of you might be thinking, oh, that seems ambitious to think that I can know what is in the mind of the divine. Well, yes and no. Here's how I think about it. The mind of the divine is the only thing that is going on. It is persistent and present everywhere, and you and I live in it, think in it. So when I'm practicing visioning, I ask myself questions almost as if I were addressing an incredibly wise being or the oracle at Delphi. But this is a being we don't have to travel long distances to see because it is a presence that is conveniently located in our own consciousness. Now, I will give you the questions of visioning that you can experiment with later on so you can try this practice for yourself. The first one we've already heard. What, in divine mind, is the highest idea for my life, or for my business, or for my home, or for my relationship, or for our world, or for racial equity, or for water security? You see, you can use it for anything. And then, once we've inquired within, that's when we adopt the gentle attitude of openness. Now, when you catch a ball, you have to open your hands. And we want to catch a new idea. So we mentally open ourselves to catch what comes into awareness. And we do that by paying attention to what comes up, what shows itself, what reveals itself, because we asked. And that's what living in the question means to me. Pay gentle attention to what shows up because I asked. It also means I try to let go of preconceived ideas as much as possible, which can be interesting, if I'm really attached to how something ought to work out. I can be very persistent about it. I'm thinking of that humorous phrase, Lord, give me patience, but give it to me right away. Not like that. There's a saying from the Jewish tradition that says, we make plans and God laughs. I'm thinking about that because I was telling a friend of mine the story of how I got to Santa Rosa and this job and how interesting that was. Because I had this idea of what I wanted in ministry and in a job, but I didn't know how to get there. The path to get there was beyond my ability to imagine. And, I've told the story before. It was bizarre. And what comes to mind is that other phrase, you can't make this stuff up. Now, I mention that because our good that we're seeking, the demonstration we want, or the healing we want, or the information we want, it may have to come through a new way, a new idea, something larger than what I have known up until now. So it may be new to me, and that's why it requires the gentle openness. I'm thinking of the Christian tradition now, and that phrase that says, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into people's hearts the things which God hath prepared for them that love God. In other words, the good that we are seeking may be larger than what we have ever known, conceived of, imagined, or visualized before. That's important to remember, and that's where visioning comes in. And it's super important for me to remember that during difficult times. I've got to remember I am on the way through it to my greater yet to be, and I may not even have an idea of how glorious it is. So, the idea to make friends with is there may be a better way than the one I plan, than the one I strategize. And I want to know what that way is. And visioning is a practice that invites us to live with that attitude in the question, in the awareness that there is a mind in creation and it has the best, the higher way, the brighter way, the better way. And I live inside that mind. So I'm going to open to it. I'm going to ask it. And there's something else we have to deal with when we do ask: the response, the voice, the message of the presence. Like the oracle's response at Delphi, it can be mysterious, not immediately clear. Just a side note, do you know that people would travel great distances to consult the oracle? And they had to bring gifts and they had to purify themselves before the consultation. It was a profoundly serious undertaking, maybe a once-in-a-lifetime journey. So the commitment, the sincerity, all had to be there, and you had to be open too, because you might not immediately understand what the oracle said. Heraclitus, the ancient Greek philosopher, explained it that way, saying, the Lord, whose oracle is at Delphi, neither indicates clearly nor conceals, but gives a sign. In other words, the utterances of the oracle were famously ambiguous and had to be interpreted. Now, I mention that because in this beautiful spiritual practice known as visioning, we have to get used to that also. It's sometimes like a visit to the oracle. Now, it doesn't require a journey, and we don't need no third party to interpret it, nothing between you and the divine or me and the divine. However, because the divine can be expressed in a new way as something we have not yet experienced or known before, we may have to interpret what comes through because we have not known it before. It may seem mysterious even to us. And also, we can't be too quick to give up or reject an idea because it doesn't make sense right away. Recently, I was in a visioning practice with a colleague, several colleagues, and when we went around the room and asked, what came to you when we asked the question, what is the highest thought? And one of the participants said, well, I saw waves. And I laughed because that is quite typical. Sometimes the response that comes through may seem irrelevant. Sometimes it's not an image. Sometimes it's a feeling. Sometimes it's a random thought, and the invitation is to sit with it. Live in the question and pay attention to the world around you for connections to that which came to you through visioning. Another thing to consider, it's a really good idea, as with any spiritual practice, it's a good idea to prepare ourselves before we begin. Now, you can call that purification if you like, or centering, or meditating. It's basically whatever you and I do to attain a calm attitude of mind before we start, before we ask, what is Spirit's highest idea of itself as my life, or as this project, or as this world? One way, for example, to do this purification or centering might be to light a candle and to pause, breathe, and then look at the candle. Look at the flame burning. Adopt an attitude of watchfulness. Notice what thoughts come and go. And try to keep in mind that your mind is fluid and spontaneous, just like the candle. And then let the steadiness of the flame remind you of the peace that is at the center of your being. And then finally, take a moment to respond to the visioning questions. I'll share them with you in a moment, and you can respond to them either silently in your mind or in a journal. So here are 5 questions that you can ask yourself. What, in divine mind, is the highest idea for my life or my project or whatever it is? Number 2, this is a good one. What must be released for this vision to be able to come through and express itself as me in my life? Number 3, what must I embrace for this vision to be able to express itself through me? Some people ask it like this: what must I become? What must I be? What must I embrace? And the 4th question is there anything else to be known at this time? And clearly, you'll pause between each question and sit for a moment without insisting that anything come through. It has been the case for me that I have asked these visioning questions and not immediately caught anything, but later did, a little bit later on. And so that's fascinating, to stay open. Because if you're the kind of person who loves a bullet list, and an action plan immediately, this can be frustrating because you may not get much immediately. And what you do get may not seem to make sense to you immediately. And so you don't want to give up on it right away. You want to be patient towards all that is unsolved in your heart, Rilke said, and try to love the questions themselves. That's a quote. So I'd like to close with something from our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, from the book, The Science of Mind. And this is on page 385, if you'd like to look it up. Nature, he says, now by nature he means the divine. Nature will not let us stay in one place too long. She will let us stay just long enough to gather the experience necessary to the unfolding and the advancement of the soul. Nature demands change in order that we may advance. And when change comes, we should welcome it with a smile on the lips and a song in the heart. I mention that because sometimes what gets in the way of us receiving the information from the divine about what it is we wish to experience is our resistance to change. So, this week, I invite you to practice living in the question and being open to the idea that there is a power, an intelligence for good in the universe, and you can ask it for guidance. Now I'm going to go back to our book, Prayers of Wisdom and Vision, and share with you the spiritual mind treatment for the week of March 7, Living in the Question, a High Idea. The life of divinity is unrestricted and unopposed, and today I call it the absolute source. This absolute source is forever harmonizing all of creation. Infinite and eternal, it is the giver of life and the home of creation itself. Infinite possibilities flow from this source, and all beings are included in the expression of its endless good. Therefore, I am an expression of this endless good, and my life is a unique aspect of the divine life. All of the good that flows from the source flows through me and my life. So I open my mind to the wealth of infinite possibilities that there are for my transformation. I affirm that the inner knower within me is guiding me to my highest expression of good. I surrender to its guidance. I open my heart to that which is calling me forward. I commit to the practices that bring greater awareness. The Absolute Source is pouring its good into my life in every moment, and I am receptive to it. I celebrate this powerful realization of the action of the Absolute Source in my life, and I release this, my word, into the law of mind, knowing it is made manifest in my experience. And so it is. I look forward to seeing you again soon. My blessings to you.
Hello, I'm Jennifer Mann, prayer practitioner emeritus, and I'm here today to share with you some opportunities and resources that the center is providing just for you. In fact, this afternoon, there's a group called Full Circle. Full Circle gathers to explore death and dying as an essential element of life, which it is. The circle meets today at 1:00 p.m. on Zoom. This evening, practitioner Maggie Cole invites you to join her for a conversation about saying yes to infinite possibilities. Sunday evening conversations begin at 7:00 p.m., also on Zoom. Lunchtime learning is continuing with ministerial intern Lawrence Edwards. He is focusing on Bishop Michael Curry's book, Love is the Way. Join him all Wednesdays in March in an exploration of the book that suggests love is the way to hold on to hope in troubling times. Oh, yes. Every Wednesday in March from noon to 1 p.m. on Zoom. Details on these and other opportunities at the center are available on our website, www.cslsr.org. Now, when the service ends, you have an invitation to connect with one of our prayer practitioners for after-service prayer. In a free confidential prayer session, a practitioner will assist you in knowing the absolute truth of who you are by perhaps shifting your perspective just a little bit through prayer. To receive prayer, leave at the end of the broadcast and go to our special link for after-service prayer. Thank you for connecting and being present today in this virtual way. It just opens every heart and every mind. It's so important. Thank you for being here. Bye-bye for now.
Hi, I'm Linda Han. I'm your Chief Operating Officer, and I'm here to talk to you today about our upcoming annual membership meeting. Now, as you might recall, last year, we had just been ordered to shelter in place. So we scrambled behind the scenes and we did hold a meeting online. We actually referred to it as our informal meeting because it was our intention to gather back in person a few weeks later, a month or two later, hold a secondary meeting and actually vote on the business at hand. Well, I don't need to tell you what happened. Here we are a year later, kind of in a similar situation, but of course things are brighter now. And we've had time to prepare. So the first thing we did was we asked Jeff Basham to help us. And Jeff, as you may know, he's incredible. So he has figured out a way for us to hold our meeting, determine if we do have a quorum, and figure out a way for us to vote. So I need all members to attend this meeting if possible. And here's the skinny. It's taking place on Sunday, March 21st at 1 p.m. We need you to register in advance, so please don't wait till the day of the meeting. In fact, you can register now. Alan Yeager, who is our webmaster, has made it very easy for us. When you go onto the homepage, and of course our website is cslsr.org, you're going to see a beautiful image of cherry blossoms. Just click on that. It takes less than a minute. Register, and then at some point after, you're going to receive an email from us that will include the link to the meeting. Now, if you're part of a couple and you both are members, we need each of you to register separately, and we actually need each of you to watch on different devices during the meeting itself, so each of you can vote. Now, what if you're not a member? Well, of course we want you to be able to watch our meeting, so we will record it, and then we'll have it available to watch afterwards. And if there are people watching right now who are wondering how they can become a member, the good news is we're going to have a membership class in April, so you can come to that meeting, find out if that's something that you're interested in. If so, you may become a member, and then you can participate next year. And other than that, I just want to thank everyone. We so appreciate your notes of gratitude, your notes of encouragement, and of course, your continued support. Thank you.
I am a prayer for peace. Wherever I go, peace goes with me. And I feel peace inside. In every breath, peace abides. And I know the joy of peace. And I choose fear to release. Every moment, love wakes up. And peace is every step. I am a prayer for peace. Wherever I go, peace goes with me. I feel peace inside. In every breath, peace abides. I know the joy of peace. And I choose fear to release. Every moment, love wakes up.